In August, I got my very first apartment, and for the past couple of months, I've been getting used to spending more time alone than maybe I ever have before in my life. This month in particular, living alone has brought up some interesting lessons for me on inner dialogue, community, and motivation that I want to share with you today. This will be my first ever podvlog style video, and it's inspired by videos that I've seen from Aaron on Demand and Kai Lachey. I realized very quickly that if I didn't talk or make noise, there was just dead silence. At first, I'd always turn on some music or the TV or an audiobook to avoid that quiet, but then I got curious about it. I realized the silence was okay, and in that utterly empty silence, I had an opportunity. In a sense, I'm living in a vacuum. There is physically no one else here for me to pay attention to or react to. All that attention can be directed towards myself. Nothing is here to distract me from observing my thoughts, my ever-fluctuating emotional states, my quirks. And in this, I've realized that I think a lot. It's actually impressive how ceaselessly imaginative my mind is in the silliest ways. While cleaning or putting groceries up, I could easily think of everything I need to do to write a book one day, the worst possible ways I could get my heart broken, and 5 new morning routines that I should probably start tomorrow, all before the task is done. This inner dialogue is constant. Noticing the sheer volume of thoughts that cross my mind any given day is making me realize there's no point in giving a heightened importance to any one thought. In the past, I've seen thoughts as either good trains that I need to hop on and follow all the way to the end, or bad trains that I need to immediately derail. But now I'm starting to see them more as just a consequence of what my brain does, which is seek infinite problems and infinite solutions, some of which are interesting or not, helpful or not, but essentially all just grains of sand that I can let sweep away just like the wind carries it on the beach. In this way, living alone has been very similar to meditation. This meditation is encouraging me to be less reactionary with myself and instead be more curious to sink into whatever emotion I feel at the moment, because it'll likely shift in the next 15. And I think that this exercise is encouraging me to accept others and even the world with curious, non-reactionary, neutral Jing, like the airbenders from Avatar, who listen, wait, and respond. No event being necessarily good or bad, just helpful or not, interesting or not. And I see this new mindset helping me out already. The other day, I either lost my wallet or had it stolen on the train. I told a friend, and they said maybe my lucky girl syndrome was wearing off. When they said this, I was reminded of the Taoist parable called Se Wang Lost His Horse, which goes like this. A long time ago, a poor Chinese farmer lost a horse, and all the neighbors came around and said, "Well, that's too bad." The farmer said, "Maybe." Shortly after, the horse returned, bringing another horse with him, and all the neighbors came around and said, "Well, that's good fortune." To which the farmer replied, "Maybe." The next day, the farmer's son was trying to tame the new horse and fell, breaking his leg, and all the neighbors came around and said, "Well, that's too bad." And the farmer replied, "Maybe." Shortly after, the emperor declared war on a neighboring nation and ordered all able-bodied men to come fight. Many died or were badly maimed, but the farmer's son was unable to fight and spared due to his injury. And all the neighbors came around and said, "Well, that's good fortune." To which the farmer replied, "Maybe." And so the story goes. So when my friend said my luck was wearing out, I said maybe. There's no way to know if that was good or bad luck yet. I have to wait and see. Another example is that this month I tried to record a weekend vlog twice and forgot to record key moments both times, which made them feel unfinished and unusable. I could have decided that the footage I did capture was a waste of time and space on my computer, but instead I decided to just wait and see. Then I had the idea for this reflection podvlog style video, and this footage was the perfect way to make it engaging and show moments of my month as I reflect on it. If I had been reactive, I probably would have deleted that footage out of frustration, but I'm really glad I didn't, and I hope you are too. I had this idea that once I moved out, I'd be doing everything on my own. Once I was taking care of everything by myself, then I'd really feel like an adult. I'd feel responsible and capable and independent. My mom scolded me earlier this month for getting paper towel from Costco. She reminded me that I'm just one person. Things are tough in this economy, and I shouldn't feel like I no longer have a family to share resources with just because I moved out. I think sometimes society paints this picture of kids growing up, moving out, and figuring out everything on their own. I'm starting to think that's not something to strive for. The truth is, I'm not alone. I have people I can lean on, and that's something to celebrate, not run away from. I think what we should really strive for is, of course, to be able to stand on your own 2 feet when you need to, but also to be able to receive support and ultimately be able to give as much as we take. The sweetest thing about doing my own grocery shopping is picking up a few extra limes to give to my mom or donuts for my dad, who are both constantly giving me food and supplies just because. I love that now I have my own to share with them as they've always shared with me. And for me, that's what family and community is all about. A tribe to share the gift and burden of life with. Adulthood is not just about independence. It's about interdependence. And as I go out and expand my tribe outside of my family, I'm mindful to find people with whom I can cultivate the same interdependent dynamic. Mid-month, I hosted a small game night housewarming thing. It was the first time that I hosted a group of friends at my place. I got way too many snacks for 5 people. A veggie platter, crumble cookie, drinks. I didn't ask anyone to bring anything, but we ended up with bags of chips, cookies, cake, and lots of flowers and wine. One of the most salient lessons I learned from my parents was the joy that comes from generosity. That the only way to truly receive more than you already have is by giving. I also know that if you constantly give more than you get, you end up depleted. So being a responsible adult means making sure that you are receiving the support you need and that you are giving as much as you get in return. I'm very grateful to surround myself with family and friends who are safe to share freely with, because I know whatever I pour into them, they'll pour back into me, and everyone will end up with overflowing to-go bags. I mentioned this in a previous video, but I started watching The Boys this month. Great show. So great that I just needed to watch the next episode, and then the next, and then the next, and then the spin-off, and then another show to fill the void of having finished all 3 seasons and the spin-off. Too much TV watching is concerning for me personally, because it means I'm spending too much time on the couch. But that binge really helped to sink in the message that once you do something, it's really easy to keep doing it. Good old Newton's law of motion. Being by myself means that there's no one here to judge me or reprimand me if I'm not doing what I need to do. No one knows if I've emptied the trash or worked out this week or spent enough time writing. I'm realizing that judgment of others is something that I really relied on for motivation, someone to help hold me accountable. And in the absence of that, I've had to find other ways to motivate myself. But the same principle that led me into a shameful TV binge is the same principle that's helping me have super productive days. When I wake up, if I lie in bed too long, I just want to keep lying there. I think of how unfun it would be to leave the comfort of my bed and do anything, really. But if when I wake up, I don't give myself time to think and quickly get up and go for a walk, when I get back, I don't want to get back in bed. I want to keep doing anything. Suddenly, putting the dishes away seems like a good idea. And hey, let's have a 1-hour writing session and top it off with a HIIT workout. Action is motivation. I am motivated to do more of what I'm already doing. The trick is to not overwhelm myself with a big list of things to do that seems like a mountain I'll never reach the top of. And instead, just focus on doing one thing, that first small thing to get me going. This, I've found, is the key to having great days alone. So those are just some reflections I've had this month around things I'm learning from living alone. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think about this style of videos, and maybe I can make it into a series, like a monthly reflection or something. And thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.